Hello, everyone. I see some faces have already joined. Nice to see everyone. Welcome to the event. Thank you so much for joining our event this morning. It's our webinar. I am Andile. I'm the International Marketing Manager at Part 2, responsible for the EMEA region. And I'm not here alone. My colleague Shiraz has joined me, and I will let her to introduce herself.
Thank you very much, Antile, for the introduction. Hi, everyone. I'm Shiraz. I'm Chief Marketing Officer at Partout, and I'm really happy to be part of this event. Since today we are trying to find ways to improve your drive to store strategies by using the organic funnel of local marketing. So hopefully, it will be of some value for you and your teams. Um, I think it's a great way to start our event by doing an international greeting. So if you can please go ahead on the chat box and tell us from which country you're coming from.
The chat is just okay. We see people are writing. Hello,
Hey,
Pascal.
Guten Morgen. I will try myself in every language. I will see. Hey, Bashir. Hey, Belgium. Hi, Deborah. We know each other. Just from Denmark. Welcome. Ireland, Romania. Welcome, guys. Hello, Sophie from UK. Also UK, Clark.
Awesome.
Isabel from Germany. Rebecca from UK. Hello. Great. Thanks and welcome again, guys, to this presentation. So, before we start, we will have a quick look to our agenda. The presentation of today will be split on three parts. The first one, we will see how you can get found on the internet by all your potential customers by increasing your visibility on different platforms. Second part is how to get chosen among all your competitors, and we will see how to do that via improving your online reputation. And finally, how to convert all this traffic into clients by managing your interactions with your potential customers and attract them to your establishments. So, and of course, feel free to pop up as a message during the presentation if you have any question. And of course, at the end of the presentation, we will have a time for your questions. So, Angele, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Shiraz, for setting the tone. I would like to introduce the first poll for our session, and I welcome you to answer it. I believe I've published it here. Can you see it? Can you see it, Shiraz?
No, not for now.
It's in the polls.
Yeah, yes, I see it.
Yes. So the question is, outside of traditional search engines like Google, who of you have used at least one of these platforms, these ones to be specific, outside of the traditional ways? So do you use anything like Maps, search, voice search, or your Android Auto in your mobile car? Or you often just stick to Google? So just I'll take a moment and wait to see the responses if anyone has already submitted. Okay. Okay. Well, naturally, it's a good thing to see that most of you are saying often. Awesome. Well, today on Google, at least 50% of total searches amount to 5.6 billion per month. This is, of course, a search that was done by Google, and the statistics were shared. And this is based on the local search by users, meaning this is about 2.5 billion searches per day worldwide. And the aim here is that people who are looking for a local need, like, for example, they search for a vet, they search for a dentist nearby them. And we can see on this slide that there are different entry points directly from Google Maps. For example, where a user can search for a specific shop, for example, we've just come out of the summer season. Some people are still in it. We get to enjoy some sun here in Paris. Typically, you would be looking for something like summer sandals, you know? So here in this example, I've made this example just for the purposes of being relevant in this sunny weather that we're enjoying. But if you're looking for a comfortable pair of shoes to stay cool in, the classic Google bar, of course, is one of them, and voice assistant, which I see that I guess you're familiar with. And finally, there's also the browsers in your car. But today, there's classically three types of searches that users do online. One of them is the direct search. So you know exactly what you want and you know where to find it. Here we've used the example of Starbucks, where it is Starbucks at the Pancras International Station. Now, 20% of users are doing direct searches. But the more interesting one is also the brand searches. So typically, you know you want a cup of coffee from Starbucks, but you actually don't particularly know the location. But you do a general search and say Starbucks London, for example. London being a big city, you would typically get more results than just the specific location that you're looking for. Now, 30% of searches are attested to brand searches. Brand searches are also typically for brands that don't have physical locations. So in an example that I would typically use is Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola would have their products. It is a well-known brand. But in the same breath, Coca-Cola does not have its own location. So when somebody is looking for a Coca-Cola, they would find some retailers that stock Coca-Cola in their shops. Finally, 50% of local searches are done that are related to the discovery search. Now, discovery search is, I know I want a coffee, but I don't know where I want it, and I'm not very strict about where I get it from. And so then we see that a lot of the time, different results may come up in the search engine. But now, how does a user actually make the decision? Here, I've just made an example of one of our clients, Q Park, who are operating in 7 different countries in Western Europe. But, you know, if you're looking for a parking facility, like I've mentioned in Discovery Search, you're looking for a parking facility in a certain area like Maastricht in the Netherlands. But naturally, you're going to get Q Park, you're going to get other brands, other services available. So now in this instance, this is related to the local search, which the local pack, which Google particularly has a different algorithm that optimizes your brands on the search so that you become more visible and become at the top in terms of rankings. Following that, there's also the other parts that Google takes into consideration, for example. So your listings, your Google listings should have the correct details around direction search. So being able to choose the location and then being able to get the right directions to get to the store, what we like to call the drive to store. So being able to get directions is quite important, and it's an important factor in terms of the information you share on your listing. Being able to call has become even more important as well, because before leaving a place, a customer wants to know that a venue is open, that the location is open, and that they can be able to access the services that they need. Finally, we look at reviews, which Shiraz will dig deeper into this part. But of course, as you know, to be able to manage a good reputation is to be able to have a good rating from customers, as well as the reviews that they leave about your establishment. Other parts are the services that you might offer that are special to you as opposed to your competitor, as well as the opening hours. Now, when we just think about how we look at all of this, we want to see how it translates and why is it so important. Now, I'm going to share just some few statistics around the importance of optimizing your listings. 76.7 percent of searches are done through navigation apps. Now, that's something to note for Google and as well as brands. And often, this is Google has naturally 95% of this market share. Now, the shop near me search has accounted for almost now over 250% increase in the recent years. A near me search, for example, would be looking for a best burger near me, best coffee near me, good cocktail near me, for example. Don't discriminate against me because I'm using just the typical food examples, but you also could be looking for sneakers near me. You could also be looking for a new brand of a vacuum machine, for example. And here we see that 60% of mobile users contacted a shop directly through the search results. And of course, like I've mentioned, calling, whether it's calling or being able to message a shop, has become quite important. Lastly, avoiding frustration is really important for your brand and your brand image, and making sure that you have the right information at the right time so that customers can always contact you and be able to know what your operating hours are and being able to access your locations. Now, I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm sure you've encountered some times when you've, for example, gone to an establishment and found that it was the wrong information. I don't know if you could share some light on this, Shiraz, maybe.
Yeah, totally. Recently, we came back from holidays with my husband and my kids, and we were like wanting to go to our favorite restaurant near our home here. We go there every week and so on. So we were really looking forward to go there. And we went, and it was closed. Whereas on the internet, the so it was like open and so on. So we were really disappointed. So I think everyone lived that once in their life at least.
Yeah, I know. It for me, it's one of those things when you have that specific craving, you need to satisfy
Yeah,
it. So, I don't
totally.
know what you did, but
We waited.
yeah, you have to wait and still satisfy it. But of
Yeah,
course, in an ideal world, you would have known before and been able to make another plan.
totally.
Awesome. So I'm just going to move on to some parts. I will highlight only some of the detail. And of course, we do promise to send you this presentation, but just some tips on how to optimize your listings, because of course you can have a good listing, but there are some secret ingredients that really can improve your listing and get you ranking higher. So, for example, having the right data is always the most important thing, like we've mentioned already. Photos are really important for listings, and having good quality photos that really showcase what you do, your location, as well as your services. These are having professional photos is always a better option than having, for example, someone upload a customer uploading photos of your business. Complete attributes are really the things that are special items that really can for customers to be able to identify what services you're offering. When I cross over to the other list, for example, categories, you can add up to 10 categories on your business listing. And for example, you could have one main category and 9 subcategories. And this is also, again, like during the COVID period, Google had introduced new categories, just specifically speaking about health and safety when you visit an establishment. And our firm favorite, of course, is making use of Google Posts. Google Posts are really an awesome way to be able to share news, to be able to share promotions and sales that you have in your stores. And this way, you're able to showcase these offerings in picture form and info form. Now, I'm just going to move over to some of our clients that have been working with Part2 that have really have seen some amazing results since joining. The objectives here for Q Park, for example, and we just had a quote from Kristen Steinberg, who works at Q Park. The objectives here for Q Park was to have a single solution to manage their Google business listings with up-to-date information across the 7 countries that they operate in Western Europe. The second objective was to have a time-saving process for the QPark team. And as you can see here in the presentation, QPark has really enjoyed some amazing results. For example, 80% increase in the increase in actions. These are website visits, calls, and direction requests. And they've also seen a 50% increase in their views online. Finally, a 52% increase in the queries by internet users. And of course, for the purposes of not repeating myself, I think the general sentiment from the clients that we get, they feedback is really great support from our customer success team, and also great collaboration and identifying that having listings of across countries or more than 20, for example, establishments, you need a service, for example, like Part 2. And just to switch back to the summer feelings is our client Javianas, who really wanted to strengthen their digital strategy in preparation for the high season of summers. They also wanted a single solution to use and coordinate all their business listings across their 7 countries that they operate in. And this is particularly in Europe. Finally, they also wanted to improve their local indexing. And since joining with Part 2, they've seen 80% listings have been created, claimed, and they've been able to clean their listings, which has been a really great success for them because, as you can imagine, normally we have businesses would have duplicates, they would have non-existent listings, they would have listings that are there, but they're actually not of their own. They weren't created by the brand, but rather by customers. And the second results that we've seen was all the different actions and queries that they've had, which has all been close and over to 100% over this period. Finally, they've improved their communication with the use of Google Posts, as we've mentioned. Of course, in this instance, Javianas has been able to track and follow the seasonal periods and be able to use Google Posts to showcase their offerings. And here we just have, I'll just read Serena's quote, who says, thanks to Part 2, internet users can now see all our running promotions when they Google our brand.
Thank you very much, Andile. Yes, now that you saw with Andile that pushing the right information and the right content to your in the internet helps you gain visibility. However, it's not the whole story. Now that you are visible, you have to get chosen among all your competitors. And if you have a bad reputation, well, your prospects will just make the decision not to come to your establishment, and this will directly impact your revenues and your business. So when we talk about e-reputation, we simply talk about reviews and ratings. So here are some interesting figures about the importance of rating. We can see that 9 out of 10 people look to reviews before going to a store. So it's been a really first important element in the decision-making process. Also, 87% of people believe that a rating that is less than 3.5 is totally unacceptable. And I have to say that personally, it's 4. Less than 4, I don't consider that establishment. So having good rating is really important nowadays. And on a more technical aspect, having ratings represents 20% of local SEO. So the more rating you have, the more you can be ranked on the local researchers. So it's really important to have to work on your e-reputation and to have a lot of reviews. So how can you do that? First of all, the first step is to collect as much reviews as you can, because Google and consumers value the businesses that have a lot of reviews and regularly receive reviews. And how you can do that? Simply by asking your customers, whether you're asking directly in the shop after a purchase. You can say, oh, hey guys, don't forget, put give us a review on our Google page and so on. But the risk is that they just forget once they get out of the store. You can also ask them by emails, but we know nowadays that we receive so much emails that we don't open, so the response rate is really low. What we generally recommend is to do it via text messages. So it's quick, it's on the phone, the rates are high. So there are many ways to collect reviews, but this is the one that we highly recommend. And we have now established how to collect all these reviews. The next step, which is really important, is just to answer to all these reviews and react and engage. So I think maybe it's a good time for us to have the second poll of question. And I would like to know, how often do you respond to your customers' review? So just tell us if it's every week, once a month, once every 2 months. You don't respond at all to your reviews.
The poll is there.
Yeah. Depends whether it's good or not. Yeah. Do you,
So
yeah. Do you have any like rules according to when you answer to all those reviews? So generally, if it's good or not, it's really important, I think, to respond to all types of reviews, but mostly the negative ones. It shows that you really care about the feedbacks. Yeah, I think someone is typing. We'll wait maybe for that answer. Okay. Well, anyways, once you found and implemented a method to collect your reviews, it's also important so to implement a strategy to respond to them, whether it's to improve your ranking or simply to build customer loyalty. So why respond to customers? First, because it strengthens the relationship with them. So they just feel heard. They just feel like you're valuing the time they spent giving you that review. So it's really a good signal for your customers and thus the relationship with them. Also, when you respond, not only respond to the person who wrote that review, but you respond to a wider audience that is really interested in how you respond, what is your feedback, your reaction towards those kind of feedbacks. So you respond also to your potential customers that will see positive or negative signals in your response or not. And third element, it's also improve your SEO, since it increase the number of keywords and it's valued by Google. Yeah, I see we have Bashir telling us recommendation to location manager to respond on a daily basis, irrespective of, or yeah, it depends on the number of reviews, but yeah, if you have the resources to do that, the human resources, it's good to respond, yeah, on a daily basis. So so you want to respond to your customer, but how you can do that? There's some elements that you have to take into account and to consider when establishing your strategy to respond to your reviews. First of all, is the response time, like we were talking about, is it a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis? It's important to set it to have a regular and a dedicated time to do that. Second is to determine your objective in terms of response rate. Do you want to respond to 100% of all reviews, 100% of all negative reviews? So you have to set what is your objective. And in terms of content, what kind of reviews you want to what kind of response you want to give. So it's in terms of level of personalization, using the name, the length of the response, also the lexical tones, what are the term to be used, the term not to be used, and also your editorial line, so it can reflect your value, your attitude. All those points are really important to set before starting your response strategy. And there's also, on a more global level, how you can implement this strategy, you have two choices. The first choice is like to do it in a central way. So allocate human resources in the headquarter, like for example, the marketing department, the customer experience department, the customer service can dedicate time and do this in a centralized way. Or the second choice, which is the choice that we generally recommend, is to do it on a local way. So give this role to the store managers, the employees that are closest to the field, to the clients, so their answers will be more accurate. So on these two choices, we generally recommend to leave it to the local teams to deploy the response strategy. So very quickly here, we did a highlight. We do an annual barometer on online reputation. So here are the figures of our international clients. We see that between 2020 and 2021, there's been an increase of 26% of the number of reviews. The average review number moved from 201 to 253, and the average review score is 4 out of 5 in 2021. So we see that customers are more and more likely to give from their time and to spend time putting those kind of reviews, because it's really important for the decision making process.
Yeah. And I think just to add to that, Shiraz, like
Yeah.
as part of this study, we found that the other part of the study that we did later on in the year was we found that more customers are likely to change their mind about an establishment based on the owners, the Google owners' response. So your brands, your business's response to what they see based on other customers' reviews. So they see that you actually care, you've taken the time, there's some sentiment.
Yeah.
Take the time to consider what you've responded and probably change their mind.
Yeah, totally. Thank you, Andile. It's really important, yeah, because
I think, oh, is it me?
sorry.
I think I might be muted. Okay.
No, no, it's okay. We heard you. Thank you very much, Andile. And also, we wanted to do like a quick highlight on a client we were working with. It's Shawarmer. They needed our help to ease the process of responding to customers' reviews on their listings in Saudi Arabia. So we worked with them on that, and we had quite impressive results since they've reached an average rating of 4. First time of that year, and they saw an increase in different aspects, increase from 62 to 68% in actions like website visits, calls, direction requests, views online, queries from internet users. So all the metrics were like increasing very impressively. So it thanks to that, we have today a strong relationship with Shawarmer, and they are really likely to recommend the Part 2 service. So we will send you the presentation, and you can have the opportunity to read. And now that we have a good reputation, we are visible online, we have a good reputation. The whole idea, the whole goal is like to convert all this traffic into clients. So to go further on the customer experience. So the turn here, not to miss, is the messages. So what are we talking about when we talk about messages or conversational marketing? Well, it's simply the conversation that a customer and a business have, whereas it's through chatbots or websites or instant messaging application like WhatsApp and Messenger. So giving the possibility to your customer or your prospects to send you messages, it's really important nowadays, and it's key for your business for 3 main reasons. First of all, acquisition. um, Consumer behaviors has evolved, and um, more rapidly since the COVID crisis. So today, almost 80% of customers prefer sending a message to a business rather than calling it. So it's really important to be where your customers are. Today we use like instant messaging application all the day in our private conversation, but we also use them on our conversation with businesses. So it's important that you are there where your customers are, and it also can make a difference between you and your competitors. Second aspect, the experience. So with messages, you can keep a history of all your discussions. You can pick up the conversation where you left it off. You can keep track of the origin of the request. So it's all the valuable data that you have that you can use to improve your customer experience, whether it's the response rate, the CSAT, and so on. So it's really important data that you can use to improve the customer experience. And finally, the conversion. So using messages is totally business oriented, since you have the opportunity to analyze the data, to make statistics and identify consumer trends, for example, and thus increase your profits. So here we wanted also to draw your attention on a beta test we did for 2 months with Stellantis, which is one of the largest automotive group in the world. So we activated the message product for 183 dealerships throughout Europe. During that beta test, 100% of messages were treated. The response rate was less than 5 minutes for 80% of the response, and Stellantis messages generated 20% of new leads. So it gives us a large amount of messages to analyze. So more than 3,000 messages and 400 open conversation. And the main highlight we got from that is that more than half of the messages were purchase intent. So it's really a strategic lever to convert purchase intent into actual purchase. So thanks to this beta test, we are happy to have Stellantis in the Partout family for France, Italy, and also the UK. So now, to have like a more global view of what's Partou's vision for those who attend for the first time one of our webinars. So Partout was established in 2040, and we have one mission, is to help businesses get closer to their clients through our 3 pillars that we talked about today in a general way. First of all is to help them get found via the product's presence management, which helps to broadcast up-to-date information in all the platforms. Also, store locator that helps and simplify the search of shops on your website. The second pillar is get chosen, like we talked about, with the review management that help you deal with and interact with your customers' review. And the review booster, which is a product that help you gather and collect a maximum of review via QR code or text messages. And finally, convert all that into business. So get clients via the messages, by managing all your interaction with your client, and maybe and hopefully soon by managing orders, transactions, payment, click and collect, and so on. So before we start the Q&A session, I just wanted to tell you that we have our next webinar will take place the 22nd of September, and it's dedicated to the importance of Facebook local pages. So it's really a focus on Facebook, how to optimize your presence on Facebook, how to interact with users through the Facebook posts, and so on. So if you're interested, you can just also register to that webinar.
I've just shared the link on the chat, so you're
Yeah.
most welcome to start registering. We will be sending out more communication about the webinar as well, but feel free to already register.
Thank you, Andile. Thank you. So now the floor is yours if you have any question. So we are here to answer it.
Yes, Inamul, can you elaborate?
Is it on Q&A section?
This is the Q&A section, so you can pop your messages here. We'll just wait for Pascal. I see some people are writing. Okay, so to integrate part two, depending on the kind of business you're running, on one end there is the channel side, what we do, but what we do with part two on an enterprise side of things is we use an API that integrates your how to centralize and pulls all your information, and that lives on part two dashboard that you are then able to give access to, like Shiraz mentioned, at the HQ level or local level as well. So that's done through an API.
Yeah. Maybe we can go back to the first question, which was about the importance of the Q&A section for the business listing.
I'm just not clear on the Q&A section on the business listing.
It means like giving answering to some frequently asked questions and put it
to make it visible on your listing.
Yeah.
Yes, agreed. This is also a nice way to showcase that you're responding, that you have the know-how. I thought he was referring to the Q&A section in the section. Yeah. Yes, thank you, Inamul.
Does my Google search appearance look different with Partout? No, it's just it is your appearance, but we will help you optimize it and have the better the better appearance in terms of bots, of photos and so on, but also in terms of information. So no, it will be totally transparent to your customers and potential customers. Avec plaisir.
Pleasure. We'll give it some moment for any other questions that may come up.
What do I pay to you and on what base? Well, this depends on the number of shops you have you want to integrate, and also on the number of products. If you are interested only by the presence management, the messages, the business, the review booster, and so on. So it really depends. So maybe we can
get in touch.
We can get in touch about that with the sales team, and we can make you a proper offer on that.
Please feel free, anyone else, if you have some pressing questions, to pop them in the chat as well.
So can you
this
share?
This is something we can definitely do for you. We'll follow up straight after this. We'll send the presentation and get someone to get in touch with you as soon as possible. They'll definitely be able to share these details.
Yeah, and make also a demo if you want to go further in understanding the platform.
Awesome. So we'll give it one more second just to see if anyone starts typing. Feel free to do it.
Don't be shy at all. Okay. Now I think that's about it for the questions. Well, thank you everyone for taking some time out of your day and spending it with us. We do hope it was of great value. Pascal's typing. Here are our contact details for the others in case you want to ask your questions privately. Okay, I think it's just a matter of saying the goodbyes. Okay, well, yes, most welcome. Okay, got you. You're most welcome to contact us at any point. We do thank you for your time, and we wish you a good rest of the day.
Thank you all. Thank you, Andile, also. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Shiraz.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.